The Louisiana legislature has passed a law mandating the display of the 10 commandments in every classroom in the state. Inevitably, there are going to be people who are going to come out in opposition to this, and I suspect some Muslim organizations are going to come out in opposition to this. So as a Muslim, I want to make a video to preempt this and explain what a Muslim position should be. Now, these organizations call themselves Muslims, but a lot of times the positions they take are political or misinformed, so I want to just make sure that everybody knows that they are not speaking out for every single Muslim in this country. After I show what the Muslim position to the 10 commandments should be, I'm going to talk a little bit about it from a constitutional standpoint, because this is coming close to being unconstitutional. When we are talking about the 10 commandments, if these organizations come out and say that this is promoting one religion over others, as a Muslim, I'm going to say that it isn't. This isn't the case. This isn't promoting Christianity. These are the values that are in common to Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. This is literally what we all can agree on. And it would be ridiculous for Jews, Muslims, and Christians to have arguments against each other and come out against each other on topics that they actually agree on. So I'm going to go through the 10 commandments and explain how this, in fact, is the Muslim creed. The first commandment is, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." This is literally a Muslim position. No Muslim should have an opposition to this. The second commandment is, "Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, no idolatry, no shirk." This is a Muslim position. Every Muslim believes in this. "Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain." Again, a Muslim position. "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy." In the Quran, it says that the Sabbath was decreed or is mandatory to those to whom it was decreed. So Muslims have no problem with this whatsoever. "Honor your father and your mother." In the Quran, we are told, if one or both of your parents reach old age with you, do not say to them as much as "uff," nor raise your voice to them, but address them with respect. So this is a Muslim position. Muslims should have no religious objection to this. "Thou shalt not kill." In the Quran, we are told, whoever kills one person unjustly is as if they killed the whole mankind. So this is a Muslim position. "Thou shalt not commit adultery or zina." This is haram for Muslims, forbidden for Muslims. So this is a Muslim position. "Thou shalt not steal." Again, in the Quran, we are told, as for a man who steals and a woman who steals, there is a severe punishment. So this is a command for Muslims as well. "Thou shalt not bear false witness against your neighbor." In the Quran, we are told, "O you who believe, stand firmly for justice as witnesses to God, even against yourselves or your parents or your family, whether the accused is rich or poor, for God is near to them both. And do not follow your desires, lest you may deviate. And if you decline or distort, if you would decline to tell the truth or you distort the truth, and God is aware of what you do." So this is a Muslim position. "You shall not covet your neighbor's house" is the 10th commandment. And this is also a Muslim position. So if any Muslim organization comes out against this from a religious standpoint, then they are literally coming out against Islam itself on the grounds of a religious argument, which is an absurdity. I just want to say that Muslims do not have a problem with 10 commandments. It is not promotion of Christianity. It is literally also promotion of Judaism and Islam, the basis of religion. This is what it is. So in that sense, is the government promoting one religion over others? And I don't think it is. Now, where the objection could come from, atheists, idolaters, and people like that. So that is where the constitutional objection may come from. But Muslims have no constitutional argument to object to this, because it's not promoting one religion over others. Now, when we are talking about the Constitution, we have to understand that the separation of church and state is not what people think it is. The Founding Fathers did not mean you cannot have religion in government. They defined religion, or they have, as a matter of fact, they have explained that religion and morality are necessary, and that the Constitution is useless without them. For example, John Adams said, "Because we have no government armed with power capable of contending with human passions unbridled by morality and religion, Avarice, ambition, revenge, or gallantry would break the strongest cords of our Constitution as a whale goes through a net. Our Constitution was made for only a moral and religious people. When you have a document that defends people from their government, you have to have moral people because government has restriction on its power. When you have immoral people, when you're afraid of your neighbor because they may take your house, they may murder you, they may attack you, they may attack your wife or anything like that, what you are going to do in response is want to give government more power to suppress your neighbor. But once you do that, they can suppress you as well. So when the founding fathers talked about separation of church and state, they didn't mean take out these moral commandments, moral religious commandments out of government. As a matter of fact, we need more of that given how corrupt our government was. They just meant that the government cannot make laws that establishes one religion or one religious sect as the official religion of the country. And promoting the 10 commandments certainly does not do that. These are just moral principles by which we want our children to live by. And it's not easy to live by those. That is why you need religious dedication. You need a belief in God so you can force yourself to have that kind of discipline. George Washington said the same thing. In his farewell address in 1796, I believe, George Washington said, "Of all the dispositions and habits which lead to political prosperity, religion and morality are indispensable supports. In vain would that a man claim the tribute of patriotism who should labor to subvert these great pillars of human happiness, these firmest props of the duties of men and citizens. And let us with caution indulge the supposition that morality can be maintained without religion. Whatever may be conceded to the influence of refined education on minds of peculiar structure, reason and experience both forbid us to expect that national morality can prevail in exclusion of religious principle." This is very, very telling because what he tells us is don't think that higher education can make people act morally. And we can see that. All of our leaders are highly educated. Our CEOs are highly educated. Does that make them moral? No, they're still corrupt. They're supporting genocide across the seas and doing all kinds of evil stuff. We need the 10 commandments in our country. Lastly, what I'm going to say is what Thomas Jefferson wrote. And in his history, in his memoirs, basically he wrote that the Virginia Statute of Religious Freedom, which was finally passed in 1786, was among his proudest accomplishments. And he, in his autobiography, explained, "The bill for establishing religious freedom, the principles of which had to a certain degree been enacted before, I had drawn in all the latitude of reason and right. It still met with opposition, but with some mutilations in the preamble, it was finally passed. And a singular proposition proved that its protection of opinion was meant to be universal. Where the preamble declares that coercion is a departure from the plan of the holy author of our religion, an amendment was proposed by inserting the word Jesus Christ, so that it should read, departure from the plan of Jesus Christ, the holy author of our religion. The insertion was rejected by a great majority in proof that they meant to comprehend within the mantle of its protection the Jew and the Gentile, the Christian and the Muslim, the Hindu and infidel of every denomination. The Constitution gives us the right to choose our religion. However, the moral commandments that the 10 commandments contain are also a necessity for a free people, because if we don't follow that, then the Constitution is useless, because we need the government to defend us from ourselves. This is what this means. So, if you want to object to this as an American and somebody that does not value the 10 commandments, then certainly as an American you have the right to do so. But if you are a Muslim, or especially a Muslim organization, do not bring the rest of us in this, because as Muslims we have no objection to this, nor do we want to fight with our Christian brothers in regard to a creed that we ourselves promote, which is insanity. And this is what I wanted to say on this topic. Peace be with you.